You're watching Chicago's leader in high school sports coverage. This is CN 100.
I say they're the second best team on our schedule. You got to measure yourself. We've had a December which we won a lot of games. It was a nice start, but now this is the best team we've played since Bennett, and we want to see where we measure, how we measure up.
They just execute so well. You know, they execute on the offensive end, they execute on the defensive end, and it's tough to get them out of doing what they do well. And that's the goal of any team.
They're very good in transition. They're quicker and more athletic than us.
We're going to try to speed them up, try to get them out of their offensive sets, but Coach Sutton does such a good job over there. Those guys are so disciplined.
They love to run and gun and have fun, and when they do that and they're allowed to do that, they are tremendous.
They beat us twice last year, and we haven't forgot that, so we're going to try to get one back on Friday night.
The Comcast Network proudly presents the CN 100 Game of the Week. Tonight, we tip off the new year with an Upstate 8 crossover battle as the Larkin Royals, the defending Upstate 8 River Division champions, take on the Neuqua Valley Wildcats, last year's Upstate 8 Valley Division champions. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome. Alongside my partner, Cameron Smith, Mark Kruger, delighted to have you with us here tonight. And on behalf of all of us here at CN 100, a very happy, safe, and healthy 2014. And Cameron, we talk about these two teams. A year ago, they combined for 51 victories. This year, both teams again off to impressive starts this year.
Well, Mark, these are two basketball programs that have found the recipe for success. They've really built talented basketball teams off their strong competitiveness, and I'm sure we're going to have a great game tonight. Both teams are undefeated in conference play at 5-0, so we're going to have some energy on the court tonight.
Let's talk a little bit about these Larkin Royals. They're 13-2. They've won 8 of their last 9 ball games. They were supposed to play Tuesday night against Bennett Academy, but Cameron, that game got postponed, so they haven't played in nearly a couple of weeks.
Well, I'm sure the players are looking forward to playing against someone else besides themselves over those 2 weeks that they've been off. But this is a program that has really come on strong the past few seasons with head coach Darren Carter under the helms. He's really transformed this program into a true contender, and they're going to do a great job tonight because they control the pace of ball games and they force their opponents to play their style of game.
As for Neuqua, well, 28-3 a year ago. Many people feel that this might be a down year, but forget about that. The Wildcats 10-3. They have won 9 of their last 10.
Well, they've done a great job of finding their identity early on in the season. Now, head coach Todd Sutton does a great job of getting his players to play for each other and also under control. Now, they have a lot of players that have heavy responsibilities on repeating as Upstate 8 Valley champions, and that's going to be a tall task for them. But I'm sure they're up for the task. But they're on the home court tonight. They have a great crowd behind them, so they should be in good position.
Let's talk about some of the key players that we feel will be a factor in tonight's game. First for Larkin, Kendall McCullum, an all-conference performer. A year ago, Coach Carter calls him a stat sheet stuffer.
Well, he really is that, Mark, as we look at his stats right there. But it seems like he's been on the high school scene for a number of years, but he's a senior this season and will need to be a leader tonight if Larkin wants to get this victory. Now, distribution of the ball and also scoring the basketball are going to be areas where he's going to have to flourish.
For Neuqua, well, the final Raridan brother, Connor. Before there was Mitch and Derek that came through Neuqua. Now it's Connor's turn, and he's probably the most consistent Wildcat for Coach Sutton.
Well, Mark, he's consistent because he makes smart plays and he takes smart shots. He comes from that strong basketball family that has really taught him the game the right way to play. So he's going to do a great job tonight, and it's going to be important that he plays great along with forward Elijah Robertson.
All right, time now to check in with the third member of our CN 100 broadcast team. Let's say hello to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Good evening, fellas. Usually we talk about a team that goes from 0 to 60 during a course of a season. Well, Larkin did the exact opposite. They played a crazy busy schedule and then stopped on a dime right after the holidays. This week, Coach Carter told me a little bit about that intensity. You have to take a listen to this schedule.
We ran in a string of 9 games in 16 days. We played 7 games in 10 days. During that Christmas tournament, and 3 of those days off were Christmas, Christmas Eve, and Sunday. So 7 straight days when we were together as a team, it was games. So we got tired of watching the same mistakes being made, and we needed some time for individual development and practice, and we needed some time to just get better as a team.
Well, the team did practice despite all that time off, even after those games. But with the weather this week, both schools were off 2 days, leading to a very short week of prep. Today's key may simply be who gets sharpest, quickest, Mark.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. And when we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip. Neuqua Valley and Larkin. It's the CN100 Game of the Week, and it's coming up next. Welcome back to the south side of Naperville. We're on the campus of Neuqua Valley High School, our CN100 Game of the Week between the Neuqua Valley Wildcats and the Larkin Royals. And tonight's game between the Royals and the Wildcats is being brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet, the most on-demand choices, and the new X1 DVR that allows you to record 4 HD programs while watching a 5th at the same time. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Mark Kruger along with Cameron Smith, and let's check in once again with the third member of our broadcast team. Let's say hello to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Thanks, Mark. Just a few words about the keys for today. For Larkin, the number 12 there represents how many years of varsity starting experience the team has among its 4 senior starters, if you guys can believe that, all with significant time in Coach Darren Carter's system. The team's definitely going to get its run on today. They like to speed up the tempo. And lastly, when those lights come back on, that means it's time to get to a different level of intensity after such a long break in games. Coach Carter knows they have to be ready for game speed tonight in order to win. Now on the Neuqua side, Lendino. That's the secret weapon for Neuqua Valley. Zachary Lendino, a guy who's taken advantage of some extra available minutes because of injuries, and a guy who Coach Todd Sutton says will do all the little things and doesn't make many mistakes, if you can believe that. I don't think I remember any coaches saying that about a player. Now for rebounding, if Neuqua does it well, they know that will neutralize Larkin's speed advantage today. And lastly, fundamentals, it may sound obvious, but Neuqua's a team that really drills the basics more than most teams around Chicago. They didn't get a chance to do that as much as usual this week with those 2 days off. Instead, focused a lot on team play, a concern Coach Sutton has for tonight's game, fellas.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. As we take a look at the starting lineups for Darren Carter in his 5th year as the head coach. 4 seniors, and the only other starter, the non-seniors, are freshman Christian Negron, one of the top freshmen in the state of Illinois. And there you take a look at Coach Sutton's starters, the Neuqua Valley Wildcats. Connor Raridan, along with Damon George, are the 2 juniors. The other 3 are seniors. Zach Inquado, 6'4" center, getting the start. Eric talked about Zach Lendino. He started earlier in the season. He will come off the bench tonight. Take a look at the officials. There's Jerry Frump, along with Rich Gruby and Lou Leuzzi. Good crowd on hand here at Neuqua Valley, as it always is, and we should be in for a good matchup here. The Larkin Royals in their traveling blue, Neuqua Valley in the home white, and the freshman Negron is going to jump center against Elijah Robertson, the senior. Tip is up, and we are underway here in Naperville.
Well, Mark, it's going to be interesting to see how both teams come out after having that 2-week layoff. That really messes with your chemistry a lot when you're not playing against different competition. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this first quarter.
Todd Sutton in his 16th year as the head coach of Neuqua Valley. That one was kind of a wild shot that time by Streety. Second attempt, no, there's Negron, the freshman, and he's got the first 2 points of the game.
Well, Negron is a nice-looking freshman. His wingspan is so long for him to be just a young pup for the Larkin Royals, but you get a look at what Larkin likes to do. They like to penetrate the lane with their guards and attack the offensive boards.
Fadeaway shot, no good by Inquado. Here comes Elgin. This is McCullum. Piotrowski on McCullum. Piotrowski usually guards the best offensive player. He's a good defender for Neuqua.
Very scrappy, and he understands the timing on defense to try and cut off ball handlers. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can slow down McCullum in this first half.
Good baseball player as well. Holding up top is Streety, passes it off to Jones.
And I like the spacing that the Royals have right now in this offensive set. They like to run that 3-out, 2-in motion offense, and they're constantly moving to keep the defense on their heels.
Good defense by Neuqua. Looking to get it inside to Negron. Jones instead flips it over to Streety. Negron will pull up from 17, hit the back iron, no good. Offensive rebound though, and a 3-ball by Streety, rims in and out and back in again.
Well, it's a second chance points for the Royals. That's 2 offensive rebounds in their first 2 possessions of this ball game. So Neuqua Valley has to do a better job of putting a body on a body.
Piotrowski now holding. Here's Raritan. Nice little spin move, and the floater in the lane is no good. It was short, but he was fouled. And so Connor Raritan, a 76% free throw shooter, will come to the line here for the first time tonight.
And we're going to get a look at the second chance points. Look at the activity on the rebound from Royce, and he kicks it out over to Streety, and he's going to get a little love from the rim. Shooter's touch, as I like to call that one, when you see that ball roll around and go in.
Negron got called for the foul, so that's his first as the free throw rims in and out.
A lot of times, Mark, when you have a scorer like Connor Raritan go to the free throw line, it allows him to ease himself into the ball game. And we got to look at his feel of the game with that spin and able to get himself to the free throw line. So he knows how to play the game.
He gets the Wildcats on the board, and it's 5-1 in favor of the Royals. 2 minutes gone by here in this first quarter. Mark Kruger along with Cameron Smith, Eric Schmidt, and our entire CN100 crew coming to you from Neuqua Valley High School in Naperville. Here's Drew Jones. Boy, that's a tough shot off the glass, and he got it to go.
That's a very tough shot. Drew Jones at 6'5", using his length and a little athleticism to get that shot to go.
Great start so far here for the Royals. Raritan for 3. It's short. Tries to save it in the corner, but he cannot. So it'll be Royals basketball.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark, if you give Connor Raritan another look at that shot, he's going to knock it down. But we're going to get a look at Drew Jones establishing post presence and getting a little bump on that play. But he's able to get that shot to go off the glass, off balance. That is so difficult to complete.
The Royals 3 of 6 shooting so far in this young game. That shot partially blocked by Damon George, and a steal and a turnover. Here's McCullum. Off-balance shot is short, but he was fouled, and they're saying before the shot. Boy, we're seeing the quickness of Kendall McCullum on that play with the steal.
Yes, we are. Also, McCullum and also Streety, those 2 guards really do a great job. Look at McCullum reading the defense in transition, makes a nice in-and-out move, and he's going to get himself, well, not to the free throw line, but it saves the possession for the Larkin Royals.
George with the foul. That shot is good by Negron. So what a start here for the Royals, a 9-1 start. And Coach Sutton wants and gets a 30-second timeout.
Well, that's the perfect way you want to start a basketball game if you're the road team. Ease yourself into ball games, get control of the game, score easy baskets, and you're in the driver's seat.
Cameron, it's the biggest gathering of the best girls teams around. It's the 24th annual McDonald's Shootout, January 17th through the 20th at Willowbrook High School in Villa Park. 2 games on that Friday night. Then there's 8 games on that Saturday. 8 more games on Monday featuring teams such as Montini, Rolling Meadows, Trinity, and the defending Class 4A champions, Marion Catholic. For complete schedule and times, check out Twitter at MCD Girl Shootout. That's at MCD Girl Shootout. Now, that's always a great event. There's just great teams year after year at that thing.
Always. McDonald's does a great job of running that event for the high school teams. And I've covered that event a couple of times for CN100 as we get a look at Robertson not able to get that layup to go. But they do a tremendous job of putting the best girls teams in that tournament, and we always get great play.
The drive by Piotrowski. He gets fouled. So Josh will come to the line. He will shoot 2. The foul, they're going to hit Negron, and that's going to be number 2 on the young freshman.
Well, I don't even think Piotrowski was trying to even get that shot to go. He was searching for body contact just to get himself to the free throw line. He's a young man that understands his role on this basketball team. His role is to not do anything out of character. His role is to be the glue on the offensive end and one of the major defensive stoppers for Neuqua Valley on the defensive end.
Taylor Boley, number 25, is going to come in off the bench to replace Negron as Piotrowski hits the 2 free throws. All 3 of the points for Neuqua coming from the free throw line here. It's 9-3. Good rebound that time by George. Wildcats looking to push. Inquada blocked nicely from behind, but the putback is good by Raritan. McCullum with a big block.
Raritan not giving up on that play, staying with the basketball and gets that 2 points to go. But we've seen McCollum on 2 great defensive plays. The earlier steal we saw in transition, and then the big block on the transition for Neuqua Valley.
Again, good ball movement. McCullum on the drive, and he gets the roll.
Well, he's playing with the extra bounce in his step tonight, Mark. He has something to prove out here. He's just playing a different ball game, different than I've ever seen him play before.
Pretty good balance. 4 different Royals in the scoring column. There's Zach Inquado as he gets the field goal for the Wildcats.
Well, Aquado fading to the right with a hook shot off the right, or banking shot off the right, getting that to go.
McCullum pulls up from 10, leaves it a little bit short. I'm not sure if that was partially deflected or not, but it will remain Larkin basketball here. 3:54 remaining. There's a coach. Good look at Coach Carter.
Well, he's done a great job, again, as we mentioned, Mark, in the open, transforming this program into a true contender. Now, they took a very good Morgan Park team into overtime and down to the wire in Larkin for the Mac Irvin Diabetes Classic, which was great. And again, Morgan Park is the defending 3A state champion, so they almost came away with the victory, but everyone knew that Larkin is a program that's going to be here to stay.
He's going up against his brother-in-law, Nick Irvin, the head coach of Morgan Park, of course, Darren Carter's sister. And there's a block. Is Corey Irvin. Neuqua quickly on the attack is George from 18. Nope. Rebound, though, Robertson. He puts it back and good.
Well, we see a great sequence from Elijah Robertson. Gets the block on one end, runs in transition, gets the offensive rebound, and gets himself into the books with 2 points.
So a nice little run here by Neuqua Valley, and the Wildcats find themselves trailing only by 2 as the Royals call and get a 30-second timeout as we take a look at the stats for Neuqua Valley through 13 games, 67 points per game. Pretty good field goal percentage there, Cameron, at 48% as a team.
Well, again, they know who they are. They're going to run their offense until they get great looks, and that's a credit to head coach Todd Sutton. He's really allowed his players to understand his philosophy and what he wants done on the offensive end. But we're going to look at McCullum right now, who's shown a great job, doing a great job scoring the basketball, and Quado with a nice banker fading to the right with the right hand. So we've seen some up and down play, some good, consistent play in this first quarter. We were worried a little bit that it was going to be a little sloppy with both teams having 2 weeks off, but both teams have really come to play tonight.
Sure have. Streety drives, they kick it out. The 3-ball attempt, no good by Boley, and rebound taken down by Piotrowski. Into the game, you see number 3, Jordan Kodrowski, a junior for Neuqua Valley. McCullum with the steal, and McCullum lays it in.
That's the second steal in transition for Kendall McCullum. Again, he's playing with an extra bounce in his step, a senior that understands that, hey, I have to lead my team. We're on the road. We need to get a win. So I'm going to do it on the defensive end first and allow my defense to create points on the offensive end. Well, McCullum just in the passing lane does a great job of getting his hands active and getting the tip, and then it's easy money from right there. Wide open layup. He's going to finish that all day long.
Jacob Eminger, number 10, another junior coming off the bench for Coach Todd Sutton. 4-point lead for the Royals. Reardon, wow, he had such a good fake. He got Boley up in the air, and Taylor's going to pick up the foul.
Well, I love the play call from Todd Sutton. Sideline, out of bounds, a little misdirection, getting Connor Reardon up to the top of the key. And again, he understands the game, gets his defender up in the air, and gets a foul.
Saw briefly there Coach Sutton in Quado, and he stepped out of bounds, so that will turn the ball over to the Royals.
Now, although that play resulted in a turnover, again, another sideline out of bounds play that allowed Neuqua Valley to get a great look at the basket.
Third turnover of the game for Neuqua Valley. 2:24 remaining here in the opening quarter. It's the Royals by 4. Tried to get it inside there to Jones, but it was knocked out of bounds.
Taylor Boley not having a good angle on that post entry pass. Needs to understand the spacing and angles to try and get that basketball down to Drew Jones.
There's Zach Landino coming into the game. Eric Schmidt talked about him before the game. Outside shot good by Drew Jones.
Drew Jones coming off that screen, curling around and able to knock that down. That was a practice shot for Drew. He can make that if you give him the space and opportunity.
Boy, Larkin shooting very well from the field. 6 of 12, 50%. And they also shoot very well for the year, 48% as well for the Royals on the year.
Well, if you're Daryl Carter, you can't ask for anything more. Your team coming out shooting 50% on the road after a 2-week layoff.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Nice drive there by Piotrowski, and somehow he got it to go.
Well, again, he's a body hunter. He's not really looking to score unless you give him opportunity like that, but he's so strong in his upper body that he can take contact and still complete the play.
4-point lead here for the Royals, 15-11. Oh boy, a one-handed shot there by Braden Royce.
Well, Braden, how about that fake to the baseline and then coming back with the left hand? Very heady play.
All 5 starters in the scoring column here for the Larkin Royals, so good balance for Coach Carter's starting 5.
That's the identity of Larkin, Mark. They come at you in waves as we look at the last 2 baskets for Neuqua Valley and also Larkin as we see Piotrowski on that play. But look at that play by Royce, and he's curled that basketball in his hands while he was going up to get that to go. That kid has to have some huge hands to make a play like that, Mark.
Meanwhile, Taylor Boley, number 25, just picked up his 2nd foul. So a couple of Royals with 2 fouls. Another steal by McCullum. 2-on-1 situation for the Royals. Beautiful bounce pass, and Streety lays it in.
Well, McCullum understood the angle on that pass. Credit Streety for continuing to run his lane. McCullum fed him, and that's an easy 2 points for Streety. That backcourt is very dynamic for the Royals as they force another Neuqua Valley turnover. We talked about them controlling the pace, and Larkin is doing just that in this first quarter.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of people feel these Royals are going to go a long way this year.
Well, you have to know where Kendall McCullum is in the passing lane, and he gets that pass over to Streety for that right-handed layup. But those 2 are the spark plugs for this Royals basketball team, and I don't think Derek Streety gets enough credit than he gets right now. He needs to get more credit because he does a great job of running this basketball program.
And he just got fouled by Jacob Eminger. That's his first. I believe they're saying it was on the dish off, so Elgin will inbound it underneath their own buckets. 5 turnovers for Neuqua Valley, resulting in 6 points off of those turnovers for the Royals. 3-ball, no good by Streety.
Well, can Neuqua Valley settle down and control the basketball? They're not valuing the basketball right now, as we're going to see almost a near turnover by Piotrowski. But they have to be able to come meet passes because the Royals are shooting those passing lanes at an all-time pace. I've never seen a team shoot the gaps this quickly, more specifically Kendall McCullum.
20 seconds remaining here in the quarter. See if the Wildcats just run it all the way down. Piotrowski down on the baseline, and before the shot, he was fouled. It's going to be the 5th team foul for Neuqua Valley.
Well, that is the 3rd time that we've seen Piotrowski body hunt, and 2 out of those 3 times he was able to get foul calls on Larkin. So the bigs from Larkin has to understand that, hey, I need to just wall up, hands up high, don't try and create any contact, because Piotrowski is searching for my body to get a foul.
Drew Jones guilty of the foul. That's his first. 10 seconds remaining. Raritan, the turnaround fadeaway is good.
Beautiful move by Raritan on the turnaround and fade.
5 points for Raritan at the buzzer, and that shot is off the mark by Kevon Kyles, the sophomore, number 3, into the game for the Royals. So at the end of 1 quarter here from Neuqua Valley, boy, good start by the Royals. They lead it by 6, 19-13. Xfinity On Demand presents Prep Profile, an insight into today's high school student athletes. Here's a sneak peek at Drew Jones of Larkin.
I don't have a favorite movie, but I have a favorite movie collection, I guess you'd say, which is like all the James Bond movies. I always just watched them even when I was younger, and now I understand them, but I like them still a lot.
Well, to view Drew's entire profile, go to On Demand, then click Get Local, and then CN100 as you take a good look at Drew Jones. These Elgin Larkin Royals, we mentioned, you know, it is the Gold Rush student section, and I didn't want to say anything bad, but they do dress up kind of nerdy tonight, and I think that's the theme.
Well, I thought they were casting for Revenge of the Nerds, if you remember that movie. I know I'm maybe showing my age a little bit, but I'm an 80s baby, grew up in the 90s, but still, Revenge of the Nerds is a classic movie for me, and I thought they were having a casting call with all those suspenders and bifocals that we have out there.
You saw the band playing here at Neuqua. Let's take a look at the first quarter numbers there, Cameron.
Well, great shooting from both teams, especially Larkin on the road, but you look at the 3-point shooting percentage from Neuqua Valley, and that's something that they have that's a weapon in their arsenal, but they haven't been able to knock any shots down in that first quarter.
And we talked about the turnovers there. That's a key factor in that first quarter as well. The lead-in shot by Lendino. He went with the left hand, no good. Ball is loose, and it's finally picked up by Streety of Larkin.
And we're seeing Streety slow the pace down right now. This is a senior point guard for your team, getting everyone in a position, and getting this play run for Derek Carter.
Larkin Royals a year ago, 23 wins. They won a regional. They made it all the way to the sectional semifinals in the DeKalb sectional, losing to Rockford Jefferson. Meanwhile, Neuqua Valley also last year advanced to their sectional semifinal. They were in the Bolingbrook sectional. They lost to Bennett in overtime. That was a heck of a game. Oh, a three by Streety.
Well, Streety just lulling Robertson to sleep, and we're going to get an offensive foul on George on the push-off, which Streety lulling Robertson to sleep with a little hesitation with the left, then he just raises up. We're going to watch Streety lull him to sleep. Look at this. I'm going to hesitate you, and I'm going to pull up right in your face because Robertson has to do a better job of being more active. He has the length to try and contest that shot.
Royce, the little 8-foot shot, no good by Gardone, who's into the game. Also into the game is Charles Sanders, number 1 for the Royals. Here's Robertson. He goes in, and it goes in and out. Rebound taken down by Royce.
It's been a tough go for Robertson and also Raritan in this first half. Those are 2 leaders for the Wildcats on the offensive end, but they have not been able to produce this early.
From the elbow, Sanders, no good. Ball is loose, though. Sanders comes away with it. A little 8-footer, that one short. Rebound taken down by Eminger, and we got a foul.
You don't mind the aggressiveness by Sanders on that play right there. And Larkin is getting anywhere they want on the court. Neuqua Valley has to do a better job of controlling the ball handlers and also controlling the paint, because whether it's a dribble drive, whether it's a shot off a screen, Larkin is getting anything and everything, second and third options in their offense.
Foul, by the way, on Charles Sanders. His first, it's the 6th team foul. Neuqua, by the way, with just 3 team fouls here. 6:20 remaining here in this first half. Oh, nice drive all the way by Damond George.
George being able to contort his body to get that shot to go off the backboard. Very strong play.
22-15 in favor of the Royals. Sanders picks up his dribble, looking for an outlet, now gets it off to Royce.
Well, this has been the first time that we've seen Neuqua Valley be able to keep Larkin out of that painted area, and it's forcing them to run another set in their offense. So credit the Wildcats right now, but they have to keep this consistent.
Streety looking for a pick. That's a 3-ball. His 3rd trifecta of the game. He's got 11.
Well, Streety is cooking right now in this first half.
Quickly at the other end, it's Lendino who broke free, and Streety, actually a pretty good foul that time, as Lendino had the easy layup, and now he's going to have to come to the line and earn them.
Streety has come into this game making 18 three-pointers on the year, but he has 2 already in the first half, so this is a young man that has confidence of letting that ball fly from behind the arc. As we get this look at Damond George contorting his body, the junior getting that shot to go. And Streety, I'm going to call him the chef because he's cooking right now in this first half.
He's 4 of 6 from the field is Streety, so could we say he's a streaky Streety?
I think so.
All right, just wondering. Inside, and boy, oh boy, the Royals are getting some easy opportunities. That one by Drew Jones.
Drew Jones, the recipient of the pass from Kendall McCullum, who comes right into the ball game and makes an initial impact.
A double-digit lead here for the Royals, 11-point lead. The drive by Robertson is off. Boy, Neuqua just not getting those shots to fall here in this first half.
And you have to credit the Royals because they are making the drives and the catches tough for Neuqua Valley. As we're going to get a look at the last Larkin hoop, Drew Jones, the recipient, just waiting right there for the pass from McCullum. And when they're in transition, they are special because they can get up and down the court. The bigs understand spacing and where to run in their lanes as well as the guards, and they're able to run fluid offensive transitions.
Trell Martis, number 22, into the game, 5'10" sophomore guard. Both teams very, very deep, and we're seeing that here tonight. 3 minutes gone by here in this second quarter from Neuqua Valley.
Neuqua Valley has switched, almost looks like a little zone. They're packing that lane in a little bit because they've been getting beat off the dribble all night, as McCullum with a hustle play but not able to get that to go. But we're seeing Neuqua Valley sag more in that lane because Larkin has gotten anything that they've wanted off dribble drives or catches in the paint. It's a smart move by Todd Sutton.
Alex Edwards bringing it up here for Neuqua Valley. Edwards and a steal by McCullum. McCullum will take it all the way easily with the left hand.
Well, that is the third transition steal that Kendall McCullum has in this first half. And again, when he gets that open space, you're not going to catch him. Takes his time and finishes that layup with the left hand.
A 10-3 run by the Royals to start this second quarter. And the lead has blossomed to 13, and we got a timeout taken as Coach Sutton has seen enough here tonight.
Well, Coach Sutton understood that his ball handler was in trouble. Credit Trail Martis, for the ball pressure. And we're going to see Kendall McCullum again. Look at him shoot the passing lanes, and his timing is impeccable because he's always there at the perfect time to get the steal. That time, it wasn't a tip. He just caught it, 1 or 2 dribbles, and that's going to be a layup for him.
Well, the game of the week heads to Oak Forest for a South Suburban Blue versus Red showdown. Tune in on Saturday, January 18th at noon and 4 p.m. as the Bengals host the Richards Bulldogs. For additional air dates and times, visit our website at cn100.tv. That should be a good one.
Yes, it will be. Richards, the home of D. Wade down there in Miami. He's doing all right for his NBA career, I would say.
I'd say so. Look at the numbers for Larkin this year.
Well, they've done a great job. They've been consistent all year, and we see that from their record. They're only 13-2. Again, we mentioned that tough loss against Morgan Park in the Mac Irvin Diabetes Classic. So this is a ball club. Again, if you meet them in state playoff time, they can be very dangerous.
Boy, another steal as Robertson made a spin move. 7th turnover of the game for Neuqua Valley. Oh, nice feed inside to Drew Jones. Royce with a nice look.
Again, Drew Jones knows his way around that painted area, and a great pass from Royce.
Boy, they are just playing so well as a team. So unselfish are these Royals. And we're going to have an offensive foul, a push-off on Eminger. Yeah, it looked like Jacob used that right forearm to try to create some space. Second foul on Jacob.
Well, we're going to see the ball movement for Larkin. It's just movement without the ball also for Drew Jones, able to get that easy layup to go, finding the hole in the defense. But when you see an offensive player with a foul that Eminger just picked up by pushing off, that's a frustration foul because he's frustrated that he cannot get to a spot. The defense is a little quicker than what he thought, so he has to use a little extra to get himself free, but it didn't work on it that time.
Cameron, there's 3.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Neuqua with just 1 field goal in the second quarter. That's it.
That is huge.
McCullum dumping it inside to the freshman Negron, who has it stolen by Inquado. See if the Wildcats can capitalize off the turnover. Nice drive, little hesitation move at the free throw line by George, and a foul is going to be called against the Royals.
Streety's going to pick up that foul.
Yeah, that's
trying to slow down the ball handler right now, but Daryl Carter, you would think that he's another defender on the sidelines with his energy level, because if you look on the sidelines, his hands are spread all over the place. He's down in the stands. He's ready to play. I think Coach Carter has his ankles taped. He's ready to play tonight.
Well, he's a former Elgin Royal. He's apparently the 4th leading scorer in the history of the Royals basketball program, so pretty impressive.
Well, I'm sure Coach Carter laces him up during practice if the players aren't executing a play the way he wants to and jumps out there. Probably needs to stretch a little bit longer before he takes the court, but I'm sure he gets out there and competes with his team.
He actually played at Missouri St. Louis University, so he's seen some college time. 31-17, Royals with the lead. Just under 3 minutes to go here in this first half. A 3-ball attempt blocked by McCullum, and boy, we are seeing it all from the young man here tonight.
Well, I have not seen a guard in the state of Illinois this season with this much defensive activity as Kendall McCullum. This kid is everywhere. Look at the athleticism. Look at the quickness and timing to get that block shot to go. He has great timing on defense. I know I keep harping on this, but when you see this kid play live in front of you, you marvel at it.
Oh, nice look. Inside, Inquado wide open, and Zach with the easy layup. His second field goal of the night.
Well, those are the baskets that Neuqua Valley needs to get right now. Easy, quick baskets at the rim to get them more comfortable on the offensive end, because they have really struggled in this first half scoring the ball.
31-19, and that 3 is off by Streety. Here come the Wildcats on the push. In transition, Robertson the block by McCullum, but McCullum's going to get hit with the body. That's going to be his first.
Robertson coming up a little lame right now. He's going to take a little time before he heads over to the free throw line. Looks like a left ankle situation going on, but look at these two meet each other at the rim. Boy, I wish I could jump up like that. Maybe 10 years ago I could get up like that, but not nowadays.
Let's go over to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Cameron, you keep talking about Coach Carter and how much energy he's putting in. Well, it's probably habit. He's standing right in front of his father. He probably always had to put that energy into a game. And speaking of his father, Daryl, he's also an assistant for Whitney Young. We're going to see him again tomorrow for our Saturday game. I asked him today how he manages the time between these two teams. He said he travels a lot for work. When he's in town, he goes to Larkin practices. When he's out of town coming back, he goes to Whitney Young. But he said for big games, he always goes to Whitney Young. I told him that sounds suspiciously like having a favorite child, and he said actually not at all. He just gets better gear from Corey, his daughter.
All right, Eric, thank you very much.
Well, you talk about two basketball families combining in the Carter family and the Irvin family. And the Irvin family has been renowned for their expertise in basketball and what they've done for so many Chicago basketball players and players around the Chicagoland area, getting them to colleges, getting them to the NBA. So combining two great basketball families, wow.
10-point lead here for the Royals, 31-21 with just under 2 minutes remaining in this first half. And Quado with a nice move. Didn't get it to go, though. We battled for the rebound, and we're going to have a foul called against Zach.
And a lot of fans don't like that call, but the official saw something that the fans didn't see, and then Quado's going to pick up that foul.
His first, it's the 5th team foul of the half. A little 5-0 run here for the Wildcats as they try to end this first half on a high note. 3-ball attempt, no good. Royce, though, with the rebound.
We've seen the Wildcats switch to a 2-3 zone, and it's paid off as DeMond George gets that steal.
George a little bit out of control, but he's got the dribble now. Dishes it off to Raritan. 1:22 left.
This is a good opportunity for the Wildcats to get a good set right now, and they're going to run it. Maybe get a look for Connor Raritan.
Instead, they get it inside George, and he got fouled.
Well, it's a smart play by the Wildcats and George. Stopping the clock right now, he's able to get to the free throw line with the clock stopped to try and cut into this Larkin lead.
Foul is on Drew Jones. That's his second. It's the 10th team foul, so 2 shots coming here for George. He's got 4 points, 3 rebounds as well for George. And now a 7-0 run by the Wildcats, and the lead is 8. And a 30-second timeout taken by Darren Carter and the Larkin Royals here with 1 minute and 12 seconds to go here in this first half. You see Coach Carter talking to his team.
It's a smart timeout from Coach Carter, wanting his team to settle down before they go into halftime. But on the reverse, Neuqua Valley has done a great job of cutting into that Larkin lead. But we're going to get a look at Kendall McCullum, who's really exploded into this first half. And he's done it on both ends, mainly on the defensive end, sparking himself with steals in transition, layups in transition. And we're just getting a look at his speed, his talent, his timing. It's been perfect for the Royals, and this is a senior, ladies and gentlemen, a senior leading his team on the road after a 2-week layoff, and he's really eased them into this ball game.
He's had a great game tonight, as has Derek Streety, who has 11 points, and 3 from downtown for Streety. There's Drew at the free throw line. Nice pass down low to Royce.
Well, it's the feel, it's the chemistry of Larkin, and there's McCullum, another steal. That's his 4th steal in transition.
Oh, look at that move by Streety, and the dish off with the left hand by Royce.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you have Kendall McCullum coming at you in transition, you better be ready, because he's going to have you on your ankles.
Quado with the garbage layup. Good offensive rebound by Zach. 35 seconds remaining. It's a 10-point lead for the Royals. Royce at the free throw line. He drives, dishes it out to Streety. Here's Derek holding up top here. 20 seconds to go in the half.
Wildcats back in that 2-3 zone. Drew
Jones
with another
from the
easy
elbow.
look.
Boy, he's got a beautiful shot.
He really does, Mark. 15 feet and in. He's almost automatic. 10 points in the first half for him.
12-point lead for the Royals. Oh, beautiful move by Neuqua. So Zach getting the start here tonight and finishing the first half strong as Streety from half court hits the front rim. And we have played one half of basketball here in Naperville. My, oh my, what a game it's been, especially for the Royals of Larkin as they lead it here by 10 by a score of 37-27 over the Neuqua Valley Wildcats. And Cameron, the backcourt combination of Streety and McCullum certainly coming to the forefront here tonight.
Well, Mark, you're talking about two seniors leading their basketball team in that first half. Great job.
Let's go over to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Thank you, Mark. Coach, I know you probably don't want to revisit a whole lot of that first half. Let's talk about better times. You said the last time Larkin played here on your court, your team played one of the best games you've seen them play. What do you need to do to get back to that energy and that success?
Well, we got beat on the boards really bad. They got a lot of offensive boards, and we turned it over way too much. Led to a lot of easy baskets for Larkin.
We saw one change with defensively for you guys. What else will we see in the second half?
I don't have that idea yet. Hopefully I'll find it by the time I get between here and the locker room, but right now we just got to stop turning it over and we got to rebound.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Appreciate it for the insight. Fellas, back over to the other side of the court to you.
Eric, thank you. Coach Sutton, thank you for stopping by here at halftime. He finds his Wildcats trailing by 10 here at the break, 37-27. You're watching the CN 100 Game of the Week. Back to Neuqua Valley High School, halftime of our CN 100 Game of the Week. Larkin by 10 over Neuqua Valley, 37-27. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Of course, Larkin jumped out to that 9-1 advantage right off the bat. Here's Drew Jones for Larkin.
And Drew Jones had himself a great first half. 15 feet in, he's automatic from those spots.
Zach Neuqua had a nice first half, 8 points for him.
Well, Zach was the mainstay for Neuqua Valley in that first half inside the paint, but Kendall McCollum had himself a terrific first half. You see him in transition with that steal and layup.
Josh Piotrowski for Neuqua Valley with a nice drive, goes up strong.
Searching for the body, Josh getting that layup to go. Had himself a tough half because he got into foul trouble.
Another steal by McCullum. This is impressive.
Well, he comes, when he's in transition, finds Streety for that layup. Streety finished that first half with 11 points and 3 threes.
Second quarter action now, Damon George taking it all the way.
And he woke up a little bit after that layup. Mark got himself into the lane and got to the free throw line to knock down some points.
Another Kendall McCullum drive and a nice dish, and the layup by Jones.
Andrew Jones finding himself at the right place at the right time, finished that first half with 10 points.
Big fella inside again for Neuqua. Neuqua with another easy layup for the Wildcats, but here he is again, Kendall McCullum with another steal.
Well, this is a beat move. Look at that 1-2 crossover and feeding his teammate Royce for that layup.
So that's where we're at first half. Let's take a look at the first half numbers in that first half, and boy, look at the points off of turnovers. That says it all. 12-0 advantage for Larkin.
Well, 8 turnovers in that first half for Neuqua Valley. That's an area of concern for Coach Todd Sutton, and I'm sure he spoke with his team in halftime about taking better care of the basketball and getting into their offensive sets.
So we'll take a timeout and come back for the second half of basketball here between the Larkin Royals and the Wildcats of Neuqua Valley. Larkin by 10. You're watching the CN 100 Game of the Week.
We are back at Neuqua Valley High School where the visiting Larkin Royals are up 10. Coach Carter, I want to ask you, got so much energy in that first half. How expected was that out of your coaching staff to see so much of it after that long layoff?
Well, we were hopeful. We were hopeful for it. It was really just a carryover to the way the guys practiced the last 2 days. They did a heck of a job playing hard in practice, and we tell them all the time, games are like practice. If you're going to play hard in practice, you're going to come out like that in the game, so we're happy with it.
I'm sure the seniors remember losing to Neuqua twice last season. Talk about the effort that you've seen out of those guys so far.
Yeah, that's a heck of a first half out of them. All 3 of our captains, all the seniors that played did a heck of a job on both ends of the floor. But we're only halfway there, and one half doesn't make a basketball game. That's why we play a second half, so hopefully we keep it up.
One more question. Your sister, Corey Irvin, over at Whitney Young, is on our Game of the Week. Tomorrow's game, did you guys talk about it? I mean, you got a little bet over who can win by more this weekend?
I don't know about that. I'll take any win I could get. She's the one that's always worried about by how much.
Well, good luck. Thanks so much for the time, Coach. Mark, let's send it back over your way.
Eric, thank you very much. Coach Carter, we thank you for stopping by here at halftime. Neuqua Valley and the Larkin Royals as we're getting ready for second half of basketball here from Neuqua Valley. First half scoring leaders, Derek Streety in double figures with 11. Drew Jones, the other player in double figures for Larkin, he had 10 points. Well, head to On Demand for a special look inside Game of the Week. CN 100 takes you to the sidelines for exclusive behind-the-scenes access from the Class 8A football semifinal round as Loyola pulled off a late win over Stevenson. That's inside Game of the Week, Week 13 in HD, available in the Game of the Week folder on demand. That was one heck of a football game.
Instant classic, Mark, as they always say now. Instant classic for those two ball clubs.
Well, again, the key, we talked about it at halftime. We saw it on the page, the stats. 12 points off of turnovers. The Royals capitalized down in that first half, and that certainly was the key. That's why they have this 10-point lead.
That's how they were able to get control of this basketball game. When you have your opponent giving you the basketball, gift wrapping it for you, it makes it a little easier when you're on the road to get control of the basketball game. But I'm sure Neuqua Valley, they're a team that has been battle tested over the years. They're 10-3 right now in the season. They've gotten off to a great start early in the season, but they will be able to respond because when you have a head coach like Todd Sutton, he's not going to let those turnovers continue.
Coach Sutton with 497 career wins, so 3 wins away from 500 for his career. Of course, he didn't get all of his wins here at Neuqua Valley. Started his head coaching career in Pecatonica, Illinois, which is way up north by Wisconsin. I did some fishing at the Pecatonica River back in the day. It's very good fishing up there, by the way.
I'm just glad you made it back, Mark, because I've never heard of Pecatonica in my life.
He went to high school in Auburn High School, which is up there in the Rockford area. So, boy, yeah, Coach Sutton has done an outstanding job here at Neuqua, and that's exactly what Coach Carter wants to do at Larkin.
Well, Coach Carter is definitely building a strong program at Larkin, and again, as we mentioned all throughout this ball game and in our open, Mark, he's done a great job of making Larkin a presence on the basketball scene.
Let's take a look at the upcoming games. The next game for the Neuqua Valley Wildcats will be against Metea Valley. That one next week, January 16th. Then they've got the Hononegah King Classic. Let's throw it over to Eric Schmidt. Eric?
Well, Cameron, you talk about the program they want to build at Larkin, and with the 4 senior starters, it's not an accident with all the experience they have. 2 of those guys started all 4 years of varsity. They're guys Coach Carter wanted to bring up right away. Clearly, they had talent, but they were also the guys who could steer this program in a positive direction, learn Coach Carter's expectations immediately, and really set the stage to get this program turned around in his 4 seasons here.
Eric, thank you very much as Negron drives to the glass and he lays it in.
Well, Negron starting this second half like he started the first half, getting something around the basket area. He was able to get himself easy shots in that first half until he got into foul trouble. But again, Neuqua Valley starting the second half off with a turnover. And we're going to look at Negron. Look at the athleticism. One dribble and getting right to the rim. You see the length, the wingspan that he has. When he gets in the air, you're not going to block his shot.
Very Scottie Pippen-like with a long and lanky body, right?
That's a great comparison right there, Mark.
There he is at the free throw line.
And the great thing about Negron, he has a lot of room to grow, so he's just tapping the surface of his game as Royce knocks down the top of the key 3.
A quick 5-0 run to start this third quarter. Oh, quickly at the other end, it's George who lays it in with the left hand.
Well, if DeMond George can continue to do that, Neuqua Valley can come back into this ball game, but they have to get back on defense because McCollum with the basketball in his hand is very dangerous. Great pass to Streety.
Timeout taken by Coach Todd Sutton in transition. The Royals getting up and down. And Neuqua Valley calling a timeout. Coach Sutton saying that they have to be able to slow down the transition game of the Royals. He said he doesn't know how he can do that one, but certainly the Royals are proving that they can get out and run. Look at that beautiful pass by McCullum.
Well, when you don't stop the basketball in transition, bad things are going to happen. And a lot of coaches have a defensive scheme or drill that they play that is called man down. They will have 4 players lined up on the baseline, 4 defenders lined up in front of them. The coach will throw the ball to one player. That player will take off along with the rest of the players. And the player that was guarding the guy with the basketball has to run and touch the baseline and get back in defensive transition. And the drill is made to talk, for your teammates to talk, to communicate, to get the ball stopped. but Neuqua Valley has to do a better job of communicating on the defensive end.
You saw the upcoming schedule for the Royals. Streamwood a couple of times. Sandwiched in there, the Batavia Bulldogs.
Well, I'll say this, Mark. Kendall McCullum and Derek Streety are two of the better guards in this state, especially when they're playing together. You can think of Kajana Crawford and Tyler Eulis from Marion Catholic, Jalen Brunson and Connor Cashaw over at Stevenson. But looking at Kendall McCullum and Derek Streety, they do a great job of feeling each other out on the court. They know where each other are at all times.
I got to put these two guys number one. Yeah, best duo in the backcourt that I've seen so far. Raridan going to the hoop. He gets fouled, so Connor will come to the line here to shoot two.
Well, Connor has had himself a tough game, but again, a scorer getting to the free throw line, an opportunity to ease himself into the ball game. Been fairly quiet, but he's a kid that understands the game and will be able to get back into it quickly.
Negron with the foul. That's his third. Yeah, Connor Raridan, his dad, Todd Raridan, the head basketball coach at North Central College. That's where his older brother Derek went. He was an All-American. Mitch Raridan went there as well. He's an assistant coach under his dad. Todd Raridan, by the way, in attendance here. He's in the stands. He was in the concession stand selling candy bars before the ball game.
Talking about doing it all for the Raridan family. My goodness.
Would not give me a discount, however. So very, very disappointed about that. 44-31 in favor of the Royals. McCullum with the spin move to the left hand. Can you believe it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kendall McCullum is putting on a show in this basketball game. We've only played 3 quarters, but he's amazed me in every quarter.
The miss. Piotrowski's put back. Inquado's fade. No. Negron with the rebound, and he got fouled. Raridan can't believe it if they're calling it on him.
Well, we got to see
the
freshman side of Negron on that play. But look at McCullum with that spin move. My goodness, the feel of his defender to spin off of him. Look at the timing. Sweet lefty layup. That is not easy to do, ladies and gentlemen.
The last guy, point guard, really, that I've seen do that as quick as he did was Ryan Boatwright of East Aurora. How quick he makes that spin move.
Well, Boatwright, you talk about a player that can score the basketball.
Yeah, look at that. Look at how quick that he went to the baseline, and Piotrowski's going to get called for the block.
Well, he does a great job of setting his defenders up, and his change of speed, change of space with the basketball in his hands keeps defenders on their toes and sometimes off of their toes, as we saw that crossover in the first half.
Shot by McCullum. That one is off the mark. Inquado got the rebound. Neuqua Valley pushing. George, nope. Tapped around. It's going to go out of bounds to Neuqua.
Well, that's one of the rare times we've seen Kendall McCullum and also Drew Jones not get a rebound to start transition.
Cameron mentioned the Larkin loss to Morgan Park. The other loss coming to Zion Benton, as that one in the right corner is off the mark. Larkin coming away with it. That was in the Hinkle Holiday Classic Christmas tournament at Jacobs. They lost to Zion Benton in the semifinal round. Came back to beat Jacobs for the third place game. Zion Benton, by the way, that's a good team. I think they're playing Stevenson tonight. That's going to be a heck of a game.
That's going to be a huge game. And Zion Benton has Malik Yarborough, one of the better forwards in the state of Illinois. He's a senior. Not decided his Division I college basketball destination as of yet, but there are a lot of schools knocking on his door to try and get his services for the next 4 years.
Streety up top, gives it off to Royce. Here's McCullum, guarded by Piotrowski. Larkin 4 of 5 from the field here in this third quarter as McCullum has his shot blocked, but a foul.
Again, if you get Kendall McCullum with the basketball in his hands below the free throw line, as we see he gets fouled by a couple of times on that play, but if you get him below the free throw line, he becomes a great player. My old high school coach, Scott Bogemill, who's over at Libertyville right now, used to tell me, hey, when you got a good player and you put him in the middle of the floor, he becomes a great player. When you have a great player and you put him in the middle of the floor, he becomes a phenomenal player. So Kendall McCullum is a phenomenal player tonight because he always has the basketball and his body in the middle of the floor and below the free throw line.
By the way, the first time the Royals are at the free throw line, McCullum goes 1 of 2. 3 minutes gone by here in this third quarter, 47-31 Royals.
Well, where is Neuqua Valley going to find the spark to get back into this game? Can it be Connor Raridan? Can it be Elijah Robertson? These are the two players as Raridan knocks down that jumper right on cue. These are the two players that have the most experience on this Neuqua Valley basketball team.
9 for Raridan. McCullum at the other end, too strong off the glass, but Piotrowski with the blocking foul. And no disrespect to Josh, but defensively, it's a tough challenge guarding McCullum for him.
Well, I know we have been singing the praises of Kendall McCullum all game, and I know I have been singing it very loudly because he's very impressive. But his game right now, if I can compare him to any NBA player, is Russell Westbrook. When you think about the speed, the athleticism, the skills in transition, the quickness off his dribble moves, and Connor Raridan getting himself with a little step back, getting himself into this ball game, and he needs shots like that to continue to fall if the Wildcats want to make this a ball game.
Raridan averaging over 12 points per game. That free throw goes in and out. Inquado with the rebound. So it's 48-33, a 15-point lead for the Royals. 4.5 minutes remaining here in the third.
Well, it's not impossible, Mark. Although they're down 15, there's a lot of time in this basketball game for the Wildcats to come back in. So they just have to believe in themselves and have to understand that, hey, we have to chip away at the lead, not try and get it away on one play.
Nice drive there by Elijah Robertson. He got hammered going up to the hoop. So he will come to the line here to shoot two. Fouls on Derek Streety. That's his third. So Robertson, a 58% free throw shooter on the year, is a perfect 2 for 2 tonight.
Robertson is a young man that leads Neuqua Valley in scoring on the season. Just having a tough go at it, scoring the basketball, but he can get it going in a heartbeat. Very athletic guy. We covered him last year and provided a spark for Neuqua Valley off the bench in that regional championship game. And Jabari Sandifer, who's over at Western Illinois, had a great game in that ball game. So Robertson has been through the wars. He just has to step up.
Look at that look from McCullum to Jones.
McCullum once again finding his teammates. Andrew Jones, the recipient, with another easy basket at the rim.
The lead back up to 15. Piotrowski's lean in is good. Josh with 6. Pace has picked up here in the last couple of moments. Negron dishes it off to Jones. He is fouled and he'll come to the line.
Well, Mark, you mentioned the pace picking up in this ball game, but this is what Larkin wants.
Absolutely.
They want an up and down pace, and they have forced Neuqua Valley to play their game. So this is benefiting the Royals right now. We've seen that this entire game. They're in transition. They're getting easy steals. They're getting easy baskets, and they're sharing the basketball very nicely.
Talked to Coach Carter this week, and that's exactly what he said. One of the keys is the tempo of the game, and certainly he wants the tempo of this game the way it's going right now.
We're going to see Kendall McCullum with the vision. Look at that pass, splitting through the defense. Look at the eyes. Not even looking at Drew Jones because he knew Jones was going to flash to the basket. Jones did just that, and the pass was right on time for the easy deuce.
13 points for Drew Jones as he goes 1 of 2 from that trip to the foul line. 51-37. That shot is off. Royce with the rebound. What's McCullum going to do here? Here's Streety working around a Royce screen. Streety holding, popping up is Royce as we approach the 3-minute mark of this third quarter.
This is another aspect of the Larkin Royals game. They can push it in transition or they can run half-court sets, but a great steal by DeMond George.
George in the open floor. McCullum with the block.
Kendall McCullum not giving up on the play.
Exactly. Didn't put his head down. Hustled back at the other end and got the block. Negron shot. No, the putback is good by Drew Jones.
Look at the activity. All 5 plays for the Larkin Royals were involved on both of those plays on each end of the court. McCullum with the block. Streety with the push in transition. Negron, although he didn't get that shot to go, missed it. But then Drew Jones on the weak side rebound, getting it and getting another 2 points for himself.
Jones with 15. He's the leading scorer in the game. 53-37.
We're just looking at a team that is very experienced. They know each other. They spent time playing with each other. Their chemistry is great. So they're just showcasing their experience, their timing with each other. And they've done a great job in this ball game.
Inquado a little too strong. Rebounded Jones. Royals pushing it up. Here's McCullum all the way. Oh, look at that dunk by the freshman.
The freshman is a senior right now with that putback. Those Scottie Pippen long arms getting that shot and putting it down on the head of the Neuqua Valley Wildcats. My goodness.
Wow. 8 points, 3 rebounds for Christian. And we got a whistle, what, a 5-second timeout. A timeout taken by Neuqua Valley, a full timeout. Let's take a look at that follow-up dunk by the freshman here.
We're going to look at Negron just run the floor, and watch your head, Elijah Robertson. I may be a freshman, but I can dunk it like a senior. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow. What an impressive performance turned in by Darren Carter's Royals here tonight. 1:54 remaining here in the third. Aaron Kern and the crew, well, they headed to DeKalb for the Battle of the Fans at the finals. Turn on CN 100 Mondays and Tuesdays at 9 p.m. as the Battle of the Fans wraps up another successful football season in the stands with a visit to the Football State Championships on the campus of Northern Illinois University. That's Battle of the Fans at the finals, also available on demand in HD. There's a good look at Aaron. Some great games turned in at Northern Illinois University.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark, Aaron Kern does a great job with Battle of the Fans. One of the editors on the Jabari Parker Mr. Basketball shows that we put out, and he's a special, special talent. We're so glad that we have him at Comcast CN 100 because he puts out great material.
All right, after the Neuqua timeout here, 1:45 to go in the quarter. Find themselves trailing by 18. Biggest lead of the game for the Royals. Neuqua being very patient on this possession. Shot from the perimeter is no good. Royce with the rebound. Here's Streety. Streety making the move, now back up top. Royce has the ball, 6 rebounds on the night for Royce. It's just been a well-rounded game. Everybody contributing for Coach Carter tonight.
It really has, and those wins are always the best when everyone contributes, everyone does their jobs, and a little bit more because we've seen Drew Jones step up in big times. We've seen Braden Royce do big things on the offensive end and defensive end, so those wins are always special when everyone contributes.
Streety's 17-foot jump shot, no good, but they got a good shot out of that offense, the half-court set. And that shot inside, no good by Lendino. And quickly at the other end, it goes out of bounds off of Neuqua Valley. It will remain Royals basketball.
But you don't mind that push from Negron on that transition play. But look at McCollum. Although he loses the basketball here, he never gives up. He's going to come right into the screen with a monster block. And that's the sign of a great player as that leads to the tip in by Drew Jones on that play, but that's a sign of a great player, a kid that doesn't put his head down or pout after turning the basketball over.
Tyler Tesman, number 13, a 6'1 junior guard into the game for Neuqua Valley. George with a beautiful move.
Nice touch off that banker for George. He's been able to get inside the lane, but it hasn't been so consistent to a point where Larkin has been able to run an extra defender at him, where they've backed up and kind of sagged in the lane on George, but this is a bright spot for this young man that can step up for Neuqua Valley when the time is right around state playoff time, which you need everyone there to contribute.
16-point lead here for the Royals. Clock winding down here in the third, and a whistle. No shot, a traveling violation called, and that will turn the ball over to Neuqua here with 1 and 7/10 seconds to go in the quarter.
One of the rare times you'll see Kendall McCullum out of control. We haven't seen that much.
Clock winding down here in the third. Raritan's three-quarter court shot is no good. 3/4 of basketball in the books here from Naperville. And it's the Royals leading by a score of 55-39. Xfinity On Demand presents Prep Profile, an insight into today's high school student athletes. Here's a sneak peek at Elijah Robertson of Neuqua Valley.
My favorite actor is hands down Will Smith because of his goofiness and he can play all types of roles. But I've always loved the flat top that he did. I've been too scared to do it. But one of these days, I'm gonna rock the flat top. I don't know when, but one day I'm gonna do it for a little bit. I don't know how long. I'm going to go get the guts and I'm going to do it.
To view Elijah's entire profile, go to On Demand, click Get Local, and then CN 100. Neuqua getting outscored in that third quarter, 18-12.
If Elijah wants to grow that high top fade, now will be the perfect time because around state playoff time, it should be at a nice length.
Well, it's the biggest gathering of the best girls teams, the 24th annual McDonald's Shootout, January 17th through the 20th at Willowbrook High School in Villa Park. 2 games Friday night, 8 games Saturday, 8 games on Monday, featuring teams such as Montini, Rolling Meadows, Trinity, and defending Class 4A champ Marion Catholic. For complete schedule and times, check out Twitter at MCD Girls Shootout. That's at MCD Girl Shootout. All right, fourth quarter underway here from Neuqua Valley High School. Mark Kruger, Cameron Smith, Eric Schmidt, and our entire CN 100 crew. Raridan, and he's going to get to the foul line to shoot 2. Take a look at the third quarter numbers there. Boy, oh boy, Larkin, look at that field goal shooting. These remain red hot, 66%.
66%, 100% from the three-point line. And although Neuqua Valley didn't turn the basketball over a lot in that third quarter, Larkin was just better in transition, rebounding the basketball and getting transition for easy baskets.
Connor Raridan, the first Wildcat in double figures. The 2 free throws, he's got 11 now. And it's 55-41.
The Wildcats are going to extend their pressure right now because they are down and time is not on their side, but it's going to be difficult to do when you have a Derek Streety and a Kendall McCollum in your backcourt because they are difficult to try and contain.
Yeah, no question about it. If you're trailing against this Larkin Royal team, it's got to be awful tough. And there's a rare traveling violation against McCollum because you're going against two quick backcourt mates in McCollum and Streety.
Sometimes it takes a player to make 2 or 3 moves to get past their defender, but with Streety and McCollum, one move and they're gone. If you're not prepared, they're going to blow right past you.
Neuqua Valley, by the way, in its Christmas tournament, they finished 3rd as well. They were in the 48th annual East Aurora Holiday Tournament. Shot at the free throw line, no good by Tesman. Royals quickly the other way. McCollum splits a couple of Wildcat defenders, and he's going to get fouled.
Well, the unselfishness of the Larkin Royals has also been impressive. They look for each other in transition. It doesn't matter who it is because all players are capable of putting the ball down on the floor in transition and leading a break or either finishing a break.
So McCollum in double figures, he's got 10. And that free throw is no good.
It's a young man who's really under the radar in terms of recognition with his basketball game, but if people have not seen Kendall McCollum play, or if you're watching this game, you need to get the word out because this kid is special.
And that second free throw is good. Coach Carter telling me he's getting heavily recruited by Division II schools, but boy, oh boy, he is, certainly looks like Division I material to me, Cameron.
Yes, he does, especially at the point guard position because he can handle the basketball and run a ball club. It's a dangerous play right there.
Foul. Let's take another look at it here, right in front of us. Kudrowski with the pass. Oh my. Tesman went down hard, as did Boley.
Very fortunate that both players were not seriously hurt on that play. Very scary.
Yeah, looks like they're both okay. Back up top, here's George. He'll launch a 3 and he'll hit it.
It's a nice 3 by George, stepping right into that 3-point shot. And he needs to be able to be more aggressive on the offensive end, but McCollum getting fouled again by Tesman. Not going to be able to stay in front of McCollum, but look at this 3-pointer by George. Steps right into his shot. That's what coaches teach. 1-2, left, right into your shot, and you knock it down. Nice elevation, nice rotation on the ball from George.
Tesman with the foul, that's his first. So McCollum to the line here, shooting 1 and the bonus. 4th team foul. And that free throw is good by McCollum.
Well, I'll tell you what, this Larkin Royals basketball team may very well win that River division of the Upstate 8 once again, because they have everyone, well, I'm not going to say everyone, but most of their main players back from last year's team, and they made a big splash last year, and I'm sure they can make an even bigger splash this year with the added experience that they have with Derek Streety, Drew Jones, Kendall McCullum, and also they're throwing in the young pup, the freshman, Christian Negron.
Well, ball is loose on the floor, and it looks like we're going to have, what, a held ball? Possession arrow. It's going to favor Neuqua. And I think that's the caller. The officials are talking things over, whether or not there's a foul or whether or not it's the possession arrow. The possession arrow now favors the Royals. Official over at the scorer's table getting it straightened out. And Coach Carter getting an explanation. And now they're saying, hold on a minute here. Originally, the possession arrow favored Neuqua. Now that they switched it, now it's favoring Larkin, and they're about ready to give the ball to Larkin. And Coach Sutton is not very happy.
I'm going to go look at Coach Carter checking with his scorebook to make sure that the possession arrow should be pointing their way.
Yeah. And it looks like they are going to give it to the Royals. 6:29 remaining here in this game. Here's McCullum. McCullum has it stolen nicely from behind. Good hustle by Tesman.
It's a nice back tip from Tesman right there, not giving up on that play and trying to stay stride for stride with McCullum.
George trying to manufacture something. Jones with the rebound. Tough shot by George.
Nice pass.
Nice interior pass. Tip in by Jones.
Well, you look at Drew Jones, who has been active all night on the offensive and defensive glass, averaging 7.2 rebounds on the season. This young man has been very active in the painted area.
Kudrowski's three is short. Larkin the other way. Three-ball attempt is short. Negron with the flush.
Well, how about that? Off stride, dunking that ball with two hands, the freshie, the young pup, Negron. Second dunk of the game for that young man.
I wasn't sure he was going to make it, but those long arms just kept on going to the rim, and he flushed it down.
Adds a little more height to his jump with those long arms, and I like that he goes up with two hands with the basketball.
62-44. The Royals with an impressive performance, to say the least, here tonight. And Cameron, you talked about it, the way that they can score points in transition, yet they're very disciplined on the half-court set as well.
It's almost a pick your poison.
Yeah.
Do you want us to beat you in transition or do you want us to beat you in the half court?
Right.
That's what the Larkin Royals are saying to Neuqua Valley right now. They've done a great job of executing. All their players that have played have stepped up on both ends of the floor. So this is going to be a great win for Larkin Royals. Although it's 4:48 left, I'm not going to count Neuqua Valley out. I don't want their fans to think that, but Larkin has been all over the place, but look at the grind. My goodness. Get up, young fella. 1-2. Doesn't get any better than that, Mark.
Very impressive.
Now, could you do that back in your day?
No way. I need a little ladder. Lot more help than a ladder, I'll tell you that. 4:40 remaining here in the game. Shot no good, but a whistle, and Elijah Robertson will return to the line for two shots, where he's a perfect 4 for 4 tonight. Jones with the foul, his third.
Well, I'll tell you what, although they've been down for the majority of this basketball game, Neuqua Valley has still tried to compete on both ends of the floor, and that's a credit to them. Most teams, when they get down big, they'll hang their heads, they'll start arguing, they'll stop playing, but this Neuqua Valley Wildcats basketball team has continued to play, and this will help them going forward. Sometimes you need losses to teach you a lesson, and the season is a very long season. So you learn, you grow, you get better.
The three losses to Neuqua. They lost to Geneva in the semifinals of that East Aurora Holiday Tournament. And then early on, they lost to the Naperville North Huskies, and they lost to Coach Heidecamp's Bennett Academy Red Wings.
And those are all good ball clubs,
Yes.
so they cannot hang their heads on those losses. Use those losses as teaching tools to get better for the rest of the season.
Dumped off to Jones, couldn't quite handle it. Kicks it out to Royce for three. That rims in and out, and it goes out of bounds to the Wildcats. We mentioned Larkin 5-0 in the River Division. The rest of the teams in that division, Elgin, Batavia, Geneva, St. Charles East, St. Charles North, and Streamwood.
Talk about a few teams in that division. St. Charles East, St. Charles North, always tough. Geneva, another tough basketball team. So although Larkin is a very good basketball team, they're going to be tested in that division. It's not going to be any easy nights.
Raritan from 15, nothing but net for Connor.
That's a nice stroke from the senior Connor Raritan, knocking that jumper down.
13 points for Connor Raritan, and the score is 62-47.
Connor plays years beyond his age, and although I said he was a senior, but he's actually a junior, has a lot of basketball knowledge inside that brain, and although we haven't been able to see that tonight, he's a young man that can really, really get hot in a heartbeat.
Streety makes the move, kicks it out to Royce. 3:20 remaining in the game. Nice drive by Streety to the left hand, leaves it a little bit short. Royce with the putback, yes.
It's been a lot of second chance points throughout this game, and Braden Royce, another offensive rebound and another 2 points inside that lane. And Larkin is just relentless on that glass. Impressive.
Braden in double figures now with 11 as Drew Jones knocked that one out of bounds. Points in the paint for Larkin, 32. 32 points in the paint for the Royals.
Those are just man points in the paint right there. You have to be tough in order to get 32 points in the paint. You look at Jones, you look at Royce, two of their front court players are really tough, have a deceptive quickness to their games, really good basketball players that understand how to play the game, and it fits right into the system that Coach Carter has given to his Larkin Royals.
And of course, some of those points coming in transition off of the steals from McCullum. Right?
And they do a great job of running the floor. They just don't hang back. Once they get that rebound, they outlet it. They're running, they're sprinting down the court. So they understand where they need to be. Oh, and there's McCullum, another block.
The play before that, McCullum picked up his second foul. Neuqua basketball, inbound it right in front of their home bench.
Well, we've seen that twice tonight. If you take too long to load up on that shot, Kendall McCullum is coming.
Yeah.
And you better get that shot off quickly, or it's going to go into the stands, or he's going to outlet that ball to himself, I should say, and get a layup.
Raritan holding, bounce pass into Aquado, and it was kicked, and it will go to the Royals.
There's the deceptive quickness that I touched on with the front court for Larkin. Royce on the post defense, getting around the side of Aquado, and Aquado was the last one to touch it.
Royce going out of the game. Negron, the freshman, coming in to replace him. So Braden's night is probably over. 2:24 to go in the game.
Well, Mark, I think this game is a teaching tool for both teams. If you're on the winning side, if you're on the losing side. If you're for Neuqua Valley, hey, what did we do wrong? Let's look at the film. Let's go back. Let's see and say, hey, we got to get better at controlling the ball handlers. We have to get better at scoring the ball on the offensive end.
Here's McCullum, kind of a teardropper. Leaves it a little bit short, but right into the hands of Streety. That's the way it's gone tonight. Ball bouncing in the way of the Royals.
It's like it's been a magnet for the Royals all night, Mark. They're going to get it back out and run their offense.
Well, there's a rare turnover. Piotrowski coming away with it for Neuqua. Raritan, quick shot at the three. Nope. Strong rebound by Kyles, the sophomore, and he gets fouled at half court by Raritan.
It's a nice show of sportsmanship right there for Piotrowski, helping Kyles up off the floor. You love to see that from opposing players helping each other up and showing great sportsmanship.
Second foul for Raritan. You see the collision there at midcourt. Ninth team foul for Neuqua. And now some wholesale substitutions here for Coach Sutton with 1:35 remaining. So the Royals now will go to 14-2 overall. Neuqua will drop to 10-4. As that free throw falls in for Kyles. Kevon will have one more. He's a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line this year.
I don't know about you, Mark, but it seems like this student section for Larkin came out of nowhere because they haven't been around all game, and all of a sudden they just popped up. But showing support for their fellow classmates in this ball game.
Trenton Jackson, a 6'4" junior, number 40 into the game for the Royals. 65-47, now make it 66-47.
I think Jackson is 6'4" because of that fro that he has on top of his head. If you chop that thing off, he's really about 5'11".
So Neuqua will try to regroup. They'll have Mattia Valley next Thursday.
And I believe they can. With a head coach, with Todd Sutton, and the program that they have in Neuqua Valley. You and I were watching their sophomore game. They have a lot of talent on that level, well coached.
Yeah.
So this is a program that understands how to get better. They have the right coaches there to teach the kids the right way to play.
Sanders at the other end leaves it a little bit short. Kudrowski here in the open floor, dishes it off to Eminger, and he buries a three.
A nice stroke and release from Eminger on that play in transition. Not an easy shot to take when you're running to your right, get a little bounce, and he's right up into his shot.
Yeah, that sophomore game won by Neuqua Valley earlier tonight, 64-33. Here's another look at that three by Eminger.
Well, it's a nice job of the Wildcats in transition, head up from Kudrowski, and he finds Eminger, gets the ball, knocks that three down, collects his body before he takes that three also, gets his shoulder square, and lets it fly.
Under a minute remaining. Of course, Neuqua coming into this game, they were undefeated. Well, in the Fox Valley they'll still be undefeated because this is a crossover game, but the rest of the teams in the Valley, Mattia Valley, Waubonsie Valley, West Chicago, South Elgin, East Aurora, and Bartlett are the other teams in that Valley division.
So a lot of basketball left to be played for the Wildcats, as you mentioned, Mark, with those teams, as Kyles knocks down that three-point shot.
Clock stops with 36 seconds remaining. Elgin calling the timeout to stop the clock so they can get some substitutions into the game.
How about this basketball team that Coach Carter has presented for Larkin High School? Unbelievable. I'm so impressed with how his kids play so hard throughout the game on both ends of the floor. Well coached. They don't rush. They know their players know who they are, and they understand their assignment. So they're really going to make some noise, especially during state tournament time.
And add to the top of that, Cameron, we talked about it, as there is a three ball by Damian Clemens.
Hey, when it's your night, it's your night, and it's been like that all night for Larkin.
At the other end, that bucket is good by Edwards. But yeah, to play this impressively after a 2-week off period is awful impressive, as that is it, a 20-point victory for the Larkin Royals. They win it tonight 72-52 over the Wildcats. We'll take a timeout and come back and talk to our CN100 player of the game from Naperville. Again, your final score, the Larkin Royals win it in impressive fashion, 72-52. You're watching the CN100 Game of the Week. An impressive performance turned in by Darren Carter's Larkin Royals as they win it by 20 here tonight, 72-52 over the Neuqua Valley Wildcats. Eric Schmidt is standing by courtside with our CN100 player of the game. Eric?
Thank you, Mark. It is Kendall McCullum leading 5 starters in double figures today. Talk about the balance you guys have for this team this year.
Oh, well, we have a lot of guys that can score and a lot of guys that can make plays. So with the team that we have, we know that if one of us is not going, we got other guys that can get us going. So we just follow out the one guy, get us going, and then we heat up right after that, so that's good.
Larkin got you guys twice last year. How badly did you want this game?
We wanted this game bad. We came in here playing with a chip on our shoulder because we were close the first time, then we came in here and they killed us. So we really wanted this one bad.
You guys had so much energy today. Be honest, where did you guys practice Monday and Tuesday? You guys didn't look like you had a layoff at all. Did you expect that?
No, honestly, I didn't expect us to come out that only practicing 2 days with distractions missing Monday and Tuesday. So I'm actually surprised we came out and played with a lot of energy, so that was good.
You have 4 senior starters on this team. You have so much varsity experience. How important has it been? How much have you leaned on that experience so far this year?
Well, with the experience that we have, we know that we can't make little mistakes, so we have to keep playing and follow after one guy. Street is a 4-year, varsity players use a 3-year, so they have more experience than I have. So I'm following after them, but I'm still a 3-year player, so.
Now you have all these seniors. You have one freshman in particular who had a great game today for you guys too. Adds a little dimension in the athleticism and length, and that's Christian. He also had double figures today. How important has he been to this team, and how does he fit in with all these seniors?
Well, he's a big factor for us with his size and, like you said, his length, and with him rebounding and blocking shots and making like a bigger space for us. It was good for us because he's a big factor, and we need him for down the stretch. So.
How do you seniors treat that freshman coming into a program, your program?
Oh, we still treat him like a freshman, but on the court, we still coaching him everything, getting him better. Even when we leave, we're still going to be coaching him, making sure he's getting better every day.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for your time. Great game. Great pleasure to see you guys. Hey, let's close it out with you guys. Mark Cameron.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. Let's take a look now at our CN100 play of the game. It came early in the third quarter, and who else but Kendall McCullum, Cameron? Look at this.
Mr. Beep Beep. That's the speed that Kendall McCullum has. Set up his defender with a sweet spin move and the lefty lay-in, fading to the left. My goodness, that kid has a lot of game.
That put the Royals up by 15, and they never were really threatened after that. And quite a balanced attack tonight for the Elgin Larkin Royals. And Cameron, an unbelievable performance. And the impressive thing about this Royals team is that every one of these players knows their role. They know that their two guards are kind of their leaders, and guys like Drew Jones, they go to the open spot and they hit that 15 to 17-foot open jump shot.
Well, Mark, it's a credit to head coach Darren Carter. He's done a great job of establishing these roles for these players and getting them to buy into their roles and also the system. And we are seeing what the overall end result is. You get players to buy into their roles, they're going to go out there and produce.
As far as Neuqua Valley, well, they started off tough in this game. They were trailing 9-1 to start out this game, and they never could really recover. And this is a game that they really have to kind of forget because they got a tough one next Thursday against Mattia Valley.
Well, you kind of put this game back into the back of the memory banks. Move forward. You want to get better going towards the end of the season because state playoff time is coming. Grow, learn from the loss, and get better. That's the message that I'm sure that head coach Todd Sutton is going to give his team.
So that'll do it here from Neuqua Valley High School here on the south side of Naperville. Tonight's game between the Royals and the Wildcats was brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet, the most on-demand choices, and the new X1 DVR that allows you to record 4 HD programs while watching a 5th at the same time. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. So that'll do it. Starting 5 for the Royals, all in double figures, led by Drew Jones with 17. For Eric Schmidt, Cameron Smith, Mark Kruger, and our entire CN100 crew, we thank you so much for watching tonight's game. Again, the Royals win it by 20, 72-52. This has been a Comcast Network Sports presentation. So long, everybody.